Hey everyone, and welcome back to Thinkiverse.
where we unlock knowledge across the spectrum every day.
I'm Ryan Lamas,
And I'm Rana Skulto.
and we are so glad you could join us for another deep dive.
Yeah, into a topic that I think is really important to all of us.
Absolutely.
Raising mentally strong kids.
Yeah. We all want our kids to be happy and successful in life,
Right.
but it feels like today's world is
Oh, yeah.
a little bit tougher than maybe when we were growing up.
Definitely.
So how do we give them the tools to navigate these challenges?
Exactly. And there's so much conflicting advice out there.
Yeah.
Like, where do you even begin?
That's why we are so excited to be talking about
Yes.
this amazing interview with Dr. Daniel Amen.
A renowned psychiatrist and brain health expert.
Yes, he was on the Jay Shetty podcast, and he really breaks down
Yes.
some incredible insights on raising resilient kids.
It's really eye-opening.
Yeah, and I think really empowering for parents.
Absolutely.
One of the things that stood out to me
Yeah.
was this idea that parents really need to model
Yes.
mental strength themselves.
You can't just talk the talk.
Right.
You have to walk the walk.
Yeah, you got to walk the walk.
If you're constantly stressed and anxious,
Yeah.
your kids are going to pick up on that.
Oh, absolutely. And they're little sponges, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they're absorbing all this.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if we as parents can show them how to handle challenges
yeah.
with grace and resilience.
And model that for them.
Right, exactly.
That's how they'll learn to develop those qualities themselves.
Yeah. And it all starts with self-awareness, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Dr. Amen talks about
Yeah.
clarity as a parent.
Knowing your values and what you want.
Yes, what you stand for as a parent
Right.
and the relationship you want to have with your child.
And being authentic.
Yeah.
Not trying to be perfect.
Because let's face it, no parent is.
No,
Yeah.
we're all a work in progress.
Right.
And I think that that's such a great reminder for parents. But it made me think about a story that Dr. Amen told about his own childhood.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
He grew up in a large family with 7 siblings,
Wow.
and sadly an absent father.
Oh.
And he really talked about how much that absence
Yeah.
affected him and his siblings growing up.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it just underscores how important it is to just be present
yes.
for our kids,
Yes.
physically and emotionally.
To show up for them.
Just to show up. That's it.
And create that safe and loving space where they feel seen
Absolutely.
and heard and supported.
And that presence, that
Yeah.
connection,
And
it's just the foundation for everything.
it is.
Right? It's what helps them build trust and security
Exactly.
and that sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
And speaking of building a strong foundation,
Okay.
Dr. Amen talks about this fascinating concept
Yes.
called love and logic.
Love and logic.
Have you heard of this?
I have.
Okay, so this is an approach to parenting
Yes.
that focuses on letting kids experience
Yes.
natural consequences.
For their actions.
Right, it's about giving them the space to make their own choices.
Yeah. And make mistakes.
Right, because mistakes are inevitable.
They are.
We all make them.
And it's so tempting as a parent to swoop in and rescue them.
Oh my gosh, yes.
all the time.
We want to protect them from pain,
Yes.
from discomfort.
Right.
But you know what Dr. Amen argues? That by doing that,
Yeah.
we're actually robbing them
They are.
of those learning opportunities.
Yeah.
Because when they experience those natural consequences,
Even when they're unpleasant.
even when it's tough,
Right?
they learn responsibility
And a self-reliance.
and self-reliance.
Exactly.
And he tells this great story about his daughter, Chloe.
Oh, I love Chloe's story.
Yeah, she was a handful as a young girl,
Oh, I can only imagine.
and she would argue with her mom for hours over homework.
The homework battles.
Oh, yeah.
I know those well.
And Dr. Amen's wife, Tana, was at her wit's end.
I bet.
So one night, she decides, you know what, I'm going to do a different approach. She says to Chloe, you know what I've done second grade?
Smart.
This is on you now.
Wow.
You're smart. You're
Yeah.
capable.
Yes.
You choose not to do your homework.
Okay.
You deal with the consequences.
Love it.
And guess what?
What happened?
No more homework battles.
Really?
And Chloe is about to graduate from Chapman University with a business degree.
That's amazing.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And it shows how giving kids that sense of ownership,
Yes.
even with something small like homework,
Right.
can be so empowering.
It is empowering.
And goes back to that idea of letting kids make mistakes when the stakes are low.
Yes, while they're still young.
Right. And so they learn to navigate those bumps in the road.
And they build that resilience.
Yeah.
And gain confidence.
And it's like a mental workout, right?
Yes, it is.
Each challenge they overcome just strengthens their emotional muscle.
Exactly.
So if you're just joining us, welcome to Thinkiverse.
Our YouTube channel where we unlock knowledge across the spectrum every day.
Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe.
For more incredible deep dives coming your way.
Now we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
We talked about modeling mental strength,
Yes.
fostering agency through those natural consequences,
Yes.
and the power of parental presence.
Being there for your kids.
But there's so much more to explore
Oh, yes, there is.
in Dr. Amen's insights,
So much more.
and that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
We'll be delving into the importance of dedicated time, active listening,
Ooh, that's a good one.
and setting clear boundaries.
So stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Thinkiverse.
We're diving deep into Dr. Daniel Amen's insights on raising mentally strong kids.
And we're picking up with this idea of dedicated time and active listening.
It's so important.
He calls it special time,
Special time.
setting aside just 20 minutes a day for each child,
Wow.
completely undistracted.
So no phones.
No phones, no TV, no interruptions.
Just you and your kid.
Creating a space where your child feels truly seen and heard.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up
Oh, it is.
in the hustle and bustle of daily life.
The to-do lists.
Right.
Running from one thing to the next.
That we forget to slow down.
Can really connect with our kids.
And just be present.
But Dr. Amen argues that those 20 minutes a day
Yeah.
can make a world of difference.
It's like you said.
Yes.
Making a deposit in their emotional bank account.
It is. It's showing them that they are a priority,
Yeah.
that their thoughts and feelings matter.
And it's not just about being physically present.
Right.
It's about being emotionally present, too.
Yes. That's where active listening comes in.
Active listening.
More than just hearing the words your child is saying.
Right.
It's tuning into the emotions behind those words,
Okay.
trying to understand their perspective,
I see.
and reflecting back what you're hearing.
So it's like almost like a mirror,
It is.
right? You're reflecting back.
So Dr. Amen gives this great example.
Okay. I love his examples.
Imagine your child comes home from school one day
Mm-hmm.
and says, "Dad, I want to dye my hair blue."
Okay.
Now, some parents
Yeah.
might immediately shut down that conversation,
No way.
right?
Not in my house.
But Dr. Amen suggests a different approach.
Okay. I like that.
Instead of reacting,
Yeah.
try responding with curiosity.
So instead of saying no.
Yeah, say something like, "Oh, you want to dye your hair blue?
Uh-huh.
Tell me more about that."
Oh.
It opens up a dialogue.
Instead of just shutting it down.
Instead of closing it down,
Yeah.
it shows your child that you're interested in what they have to say,
Even if you don't agree.
even if you don't agree with their request.
And you might learn something
You might.
surprising about what's going on in their world.
Exactly. Like maybe they're feeling insecure.
Right.
Maybe they're trying to express their individuality.
Or maybe they just think it looks really cool.
Or maybe they just think blue hair would look cool.
Right.
You never know.
You never know.
And speaking of setting the stage for healthy communication,
Yeah.
another crucial aspect of raising mentally strong kids
Okay.
is setting clear boundaries.
Boundaries are so important.
They are so important.
They provide a framework for behavior.
Right. It helps kids understand expectations.
Right.
And it teaches them that actions have consequences.
And it's not about being controlling
No.
or authoritarian.
It's not about being a dictator.
Right.
It's about providing structure and guidance.
Right.
It's about teaching them that the world doesn't revolve around them.
Which can be a tough lesson
It can be a tough lesson,
for kids to learn.
but an important one.
Yeah.
Dr. Amen cites a fascinating study
Okay.
from the University of Oregon
Mm-hmm.
that found that loving but permissive parenting
Okay.
can actually lead to more mental health challenges
Really?
than hostile but firm parenting.
That's so interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that.
It really highlights the importance of finding that balance between love and limits.
Yeah,
We want our kids to feel loved and supported,
of course.
but we also need to set clear boundaries and expectations.
Yeah, and he connects this back to the development of the prefrontal cortex.
Yes, the part of the brain responsible for impulse control,
Okay.
decision-making,
Uh-huh.
planning,
All that good stuff.
and the prefrontal cortex is
Yeah.
still developing
Really?
well into our 20s,
Wow.
which means that kids and teenagers need that parental guidance
To help them make good choices.
to help them make good choices.
It's like they're driving a car without a fully developed braking system.
I love that analogy.
Right.
They need us to help them steer,
Yeah.
to teach them the rules of the road,
Right.
and to make sure they don't crash.
And we're all works in progress, right?
We are, as parents,
As parents.
as individuals,
And we're going to make mistakes along the way.
we are going to mess up.
We are.
And it's so easy to get caught up in that guilt cycle.
The guilt cycle, oh, yeah.
You know, we beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
We worry that we've scarred our kids for life.
We're the worst parents ever.
Right.
Right.
But Dr. Eamon encourages us to break free from that cycle.
Okay, good.
He says that instead of dwelling on our mistakes,
Yeah.
we should focus on learning from them and moving forward.
So give yourself some grace.
Give yourself grace.
Yeah.
And he also stresses the importance of addressing misbehavior
Okay.
in the moment
Oh, in the moment.
with firmness and kindness.
So not letting it slide,
Not letting it slide.
but also not overreacting later.
Not overreacting later.
Find that middle ground.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance between grace and accountability.
I love that.
And it ties into that win or learn mentality.
Well, that he talks about.
So it's either you win
Or you learn.
or you learn from it.
Viewing mistakes as opportunities for growth
I like that.
for both ourselves and our children.
So it's a learning opportunity for everyone.
And it's not just about our own mistakes.
Right.
It's also about how we help our kids navigate their mistakes.
Yes, creating a safe space where they feel comfortable coming to us when
Yeah.
they mess up.
They're not going to be perfect.
They're not going to be perfect.
Right.
Knowing that they won't be judged or shamed
It's about creating a culture of learning and growth.
within our families.
Okay, I love that.
Now let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about one of the biggest challenges facing parents today:
Oh boy,
technology and social media.
the big one.
It's a constant battle, isn't it?
It is. It feels like our kids are glued to their screens.
It's like an extension of their hand.
Right.
And it's not just about the amount of time they're spending on devices.
Right?
It's also about the content they're consuming
Yeah.
and the way these platforms are designed.
And Dr. Amen expresses some serious concerns
He does.
about the addictive nature of social media. The addictive nature. And its impact on mental health.
It's designed to keep us hooked, to constantly stimulate our brain's reward centers.
With those notifications?
Notifications like shares.
All of it.
All of it.
Dr. Amen references a book
He does.
called Thrilled to Death,
Thrilled to death.
which explores how our brains are being hijacked by this constant barrage of stimulation.
It's so true.
And he even shares a chilling example
He does.
of a brain scan showing the deactivation of the frontal lobes
Wow.
in a child while playing video games.
That's scary.
It's a powerful image that really drives home the point
Yes.
that excessive screen time can have a profound impact on brain function.
Especially in developing brains.
It's like we're training our kids' brains to seek instant gratification.
To crave that next dopamine hit.
And that can have serious consequences for their attention spans,
There
their
are.
ability to focus,
Yeah.
and their overall well-being.
Absolutely.
So what can we do?
Well, Dr. Ammon advises delaying exposure to technology as long as possible
Okay.
and setting clear boundaries around its use within the family.
So having those family rules
Family rules
and guidelines,
and modeling healthy tech habits ourselves.
because we can't tell our kids to put down their phones if we're constantly checking ours.
Right.
It's about finding that balance,
Yeah.
creating tech-free zones in our homes.
Tech-free zones. I love that.
Right.
Like no phones at the dinner table.
Exactly.
Just screens in the bedroom.
And prioritizing those real-life experiences and connections over those virtual ones.
Now, before we move on to our next topic,
Yes.
I just want to remind everyone to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel,
Yes.
Thinkiverse,
Thinkiverse.
for more insightful deep dives like this one
We're committed to unlocking knowledge across the spectrum every day.
every day.
Okay, let's talk about another challenging topic that many families face.
Okay.
Divorce.
Divorce.
It can be incredibly difficult for children.
It can be.
But Dr. Amen offers some valuable insights on how to minimize the negative impact.
He does. He does.
He stresses the importance of putting the child's well-being above all else,
Above all else.
even when emotions are running high.
Which is so hard when
Yeah.
you're going through a divorce.
That it's so important
It's so important
for the kids
For the kids.
to create a safe and stable environment for them.
Yes, even if the parents are no longer together.
Exactly.
He emphasizes avoiding negative talk about the other parent.
Oh, that's huge,
It is.
right? Because kids pick up on that.
They do.
And the importance of co-parenting with a united front,
Even if it's difficult.
even when it's hard.
Even when you don't want to.
Right.
It's about sending a message to the child
Yeah,
that they are loved and supported by both parents regardless of the circumstances.
absolutely.
It's about choosing love over resentment even when it's hard.
And that brings us to a central theme that weaves throughout
Yes.
Dr. Amon's insights.
It does.
The true meaning of love in parenting.
Love and parenting.
It's a question we've been circling around
Yes.
throughout this entire deep dive.
We have.
What does love really look like in action
What does it look like?
when it comes to raising our kids?
When it comes to raising our kids,
Right.
it's more than just showering them with affection and material things.
Right.
It's about equipping them with the tools they need
Yeah.
to thrive independently.
Giving them those tools.
Become mentally strong individual.
It's about letting go of that need to control
Yes.
and fix everything.
Right.
And instead trusting in their innate ability to learn and grow and become resilient.
You have to trust them.
Right, we do.
We have to trust our kids.
It's hard.
It is.
It's really hard.
But we have to be their guide,
Yeah.
be their cheerleader.
Be their safe harbor,
Yes.
but also allow them the space to make their own mistakes.
And discover their own strength.
And that is what true love looks like in action.
Love in action.
And recognizing that true love sometimes means making tough choices.
Yes.
Choices that might not be popular in the moment,
Right.
but will ultimately benefit our kids in the long run.
That long-term vision.
All right.
We have to keep that in mind.
Like saying no to that extra hour of screen time.
Yes.
Or holding firm on a curfew, even when they're begging you to reconsider.
It's about putting their long-term well-being
Yeah.
ahead of their short-term happiness.
I mean, nobody wants to be the bad guy.
Right. Nobody wants to be the bad guy.
But sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Sometimes you got to be the bad guy.
And recognizing that we're not doing them any favors by shielding them from every discomfort.
Exactly. Life is full of challenges and setbacks. It's how we teach our kids to navigate those challenges.
Right.
It will determine their resilience.
And ultimately, their success.
Their success.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Dr. Amon's wisdom,
Yes.
let's recap some of those key takeaways.
Okay.
It all starts with us,
It does.
modeling mental strength,
Yes.
setting clear goals and expectations,
Right.
and fostering agency by letting our kids learn from their own choices.
Giving them that space to make those choices.
Yeah. We talked about the magic of dedicated time and active listening.
Such a powerful tool.
It is. Active listening, the importance of setting boundaries,
Yes.
and the surprising finding that loving but permissive parenting
Right.
can actually be more detrimental
Yes.
than hostile but firm parenting.
It was a surprising study.
It was a very surprising study.
It was.
We also explored how to break free from the guilt cycle
Yes.
when we inevitably make mistakes as parents.
Because we all do.
We all do.
We all make mistakes.
And we delved into the challenges of navigating technology and social media
Oh, yes.
in a way that protects our children's mental health.
Such an important topic
It is.
in today's world.
And finally, we unpack the true meaning of love in parenting.
Yes.
It's about equipping our children with the tools they need to thrive independently,
Giving them those tools.
make responsible choices, and face life's challenges with resilience and grace,
Resilience and grace.
guiding them toward becoming the best versions of themselves.
Yeah.
Not molding them into who we think they should be.
Exactly.
That's the key takeaway.
It is. Right there. Remember, every journey begins with a single step.
So here's a question for you, our listeners, to ponder.
Okay.
What's one small step you can take today
Today,
to apply these insights in your own family?
one small step.
Maybe it's setting aside that dedicated special time with your child,
Yes.
practicing active listening,
Being more present.
or simply being more mindful of the messages you're sending through your own actions.
And your words.
Whatever it is, take that step.
Take that step.
Your kids will thank you for it.
And before we sign off,
Yes.
don't forget to like and subscribe to Thinkiverse
Thinkiverse.
for more deep dives into fascinating topics from across the spectrum.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.
Keep those brains buzzing and those hearts open.